Hello, Alex.
Hey Kev, how's it going?
Pretty good. What about you?
Doing well, doing well.
So, what do you think about this upcoming election? What do you think about our presidential candidates?
Man, I think we have a grim forecast for this election. I don't like either of the choices. I don't even really defer between the two. I think they're both going to produce a negative effect if either one were to be elected, but I think they're going to produce different kinds of negative effects. I think Hillary is going to produce a a negative effect that is passed through Congress, that doesn't have a hard time infiltrating the political system itself, but is not as disastrous or sudden as the negative effects that Donald Trump would have if he was elected.
What kind of negative effects would Donald Trump have?
Donald Trump, so with Donald Trump really depends on whether his presidency consists of what he says he's going to do or what it's rational and likely for him to do.
Mm-hmm.
So Donald Trump is obviously different from Hillary Clinton in a number of ways, but one of the most important ways being that he's a businessman by trade. He is not a politician. And so if he thinks like a businessman, he's going to think in the big picture of our country, he's going to think, what are the things that I can do to erase this $19 trillion debt? Where are we spending money where we don't need to be spending it? Those cuts might be things that are necessary for the economic future of our country. He has some ideas. For example, he brought up the Muslim database earlier in his election. He has some ideas that are clearly xenophobic and nationalistic, but those are very unlikely to get passed through Congress.
Okay. What do you think about? Did you watch any of the presidential debates?
Yeah.
What do you think?
All three. I think that Donald Trump did better in the second and third. I think Hillary Clinton did better in the first. I had a kind of sick feeling in my stomach throughout the debates. I think that they did a very poor job of talking about the issues that the American electorate actually cares about. And I don't think that they did a very good job of, as individual candidates, I don't think that they produced a very substantive conversation.
Right. What do you think about Donald Trump's comments on women?
Donald Trump's comments on women are bad, but we have to keep in mind at the same time the misogyny of Hillary Clinton, both politically through policy, as well as some of the things that she has said or done that have been anti-women. So I can't look at it in a vacuum. I have to think of the political system first as the vacuum of misogyny. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are different but equal, offshoots of that.
What kind of misogynistic things has Hillary Clinton done, in your opinion?
So, I think there's a few different things. You can look at her trial as a criminal defense lawyer, where she basically was it's proven that she was making light of a situation where she got someone off the hook who committed rape, and there were some other comments that she's made about the alleged victims of rape of Bill Clinton. But then there's also the policy things she's done. So, going and indiscriminately killing people in the Middle East that often can be women and children in drone programs and bombing and clandestine warfare are all things that are bad for women as well as many other groups. And that is political misogyny. You can't just staple that to Hillary Clinton, but she is the champion of that in this election.
And a lot of that stuff is not as it's not as well known as some of Trump's things. Do you think that's a lot of just what the media reports and what's a better story, or
I think it's what's the easier story is part of it. It's very easy to take a 7 or 8 second audio or videotape of something that Donald Trump says and make it portray a point about misogyny, but it's harder, or it's a little bit more complicated to explain the political misogyny that Hillary Clinton expresses. But I think you're right. It's also a huge part of our mainstream media, which is really the biggest problem, is how politicized it's become and how it's created this situation you're talking